Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Margaret, and today we are filming a video at a movie filming location. And this sounds super creepy. And I'm not surprised they picked it for this movie. Okay, I look like an idiot. Okay, so we are currently in Burkittsville, Maryland, which is the filming location for none other than the Blair Witch Project. Now, the only thing, though, is that the scenes in the woods were not filmed in Burkittsville. They were filmed around Baltimore and Montgomery County. But this is where it's supposed to be. And the opening scene takes place here, and it was actually filmed here. And we are at the cemetery where the opening scene takes place. And this town looks like something Stephen King could have made up. But this is the graveyard that is in the movie. It is near the beginning-ish, I believe. Actually, yeah, any scene that's not in the woods is from the beginning of the movie. And I believe you can see this view. I feel like I'm gonna get murdered if I walk by there. This literally feels like a freaking Hawkins or some crap like that. I think this is just about the shots that we get in the movie. It is around here, and you see that big chess piece looking thing. Oh my goodness, that is a cool view. So, a little backstory on the Blair Witch Project. So it premiered in 1999, and it is about 3 friends from college who are trying to investigate the story of the Blair Witch in Burkittsville, Maryland, which is where we are today. Whew. And, you know, essentially they go asking townspeople around town, which is where you see the actual town, and then they go in the woods, and I will not spoil it for you because I recommend watching it if you've not seen it. And this movie was a huge deal. I was born when it came out, but I was really little, so I didn't really understand how big of a deal it was, especially in Maryland. I believe that church was used in a scene as well. I think you can see it in the background. And so it was a big deal. It was this little indie horror movie, and it premiered at Sundance. What happened was found footage movies already existed before this, but this kind of revived the genre. Pretty view. Yes, like I said, I think that church is in the movie. And then Burkittsville Post Office. That is also in the movie as well. And I think there's a convenience store, but I'm not sure what that is. Didn't have my microphone. That post office is in the movie. So this entire town is like literally one block. Yeah, like I said, I think that post office is in the movie, and I think there was a convenience store, but I didn't see any convenience stores on the map. There's not a ton here to see. It like pretty much just goes down there, and then there's some woods, and I guess that's where the woods are supposed to be, but that's really about it for Burkittsville. Anyway, yeah, so the history of the Blair Witch. Basically, the Blair Witch Project came out in 1999. It's an independent horror film. Nobody really thought much of it. But then Sundance Film Festival came along, and what happened was that the creators of this film marketed it as real footage. It was a found footage film, if you've seen it. And the genre had kind of died out in the horror genre. But this kind of revived it because they marketed that it was real, like I said. They had the posters. They said they are possibly deceased or missing, so they marketed this as real, and the movie kind of blew up. It's one of the most successful independent films of all time, along with one of the most successful horror films money-wise of all time, especially for an indie movie. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, so the Blair Witch Project kind of blew up, and it kind of put Burkittsville on the map in Maryland. It's just like this little teeny tiny town, besides it being a Civil War town and having Civil War battlefields nearby. This put it on the map, which is pretty cool for a little Maryland town. Now, the actual story of the Blair Witch is not real. It was completely fabricated by Eduardo Sanchez and the other creators of this movie. I forgot to mention, I've also met the director a couple times. Yeah, but there are some creepy legends in this area of Maryland. So we have the Snallygaster. I actually do want to make a whole video on the Snallygaster and the Dwayyo. There's also Spook Hill in Burkittsville, which is right near a battlefield, and if you stop at the bottom of the hill, you apparently will roll backwards. And I'm not sure where that is right now. Maybe I'll go test it out today, or maybe that will be another video. There's also been actual witch legends in Maryland, but they've mostly been southern Maryland. So really nothing around here, around like this area of northern Maryland as far as I know, witch-wise. But in southern Maryland, there is the story of BLAIR, which is quite famous. So she allegedly lived in southern Maryland, in Leonardstown, in the 1600s, which is near the Chesapeake Bay. And what happened was she was allegedly ran out of her house by Puritans and froze to death. And her body was apparently frozen to a rock. And there's not a lot of info on if she was an actual person, but there are a few records dating back to somebody with the last name Dyer from Maryland, and their names were like Mary and stuff like that. So Moll, M-O-L-L, that could have been a nickname for Mary, or whatever her name was. So there is some evidence she did exist. And her house was allegedly burned down, so there's no evidence that that existed. However, the area where her house allegedly was, there was a lot of weird stuff going on around there, and there still is. Crops don't grow around there. There's weird lightning. There's weird mist. People see a white dog that comes out of nowhere. So there's definitely something up with that area, haunted-wise. And, you know, people say that's BLAIR, and she's still searching for the people that killed her, which is pretty sad. I hope her spirit finds peace. And gotta lock my door in case the townsfolk try to kill me. Now, she lived in St. Mary's County, and in front of the St. Mary's Historical Society is actually the rock that she allegedly froze to. And it was found in the woods near where her cottage was, so people just assume that this was the rock. And people say that when you go near this rock or touch this rock, that people experience fainting, dizziness, all sorts of weird things. There was also a woman named Rebecca Fowler who was hanged for being a witch in the same area. Yeah, so stories of witches in Maryland exist, but the Blair Witch isn't one. It was just a cool story for a movie, and I think Burkittsville is super creepy. And there's a lot of Civil War ghosts here too. So I hope you enjoyed looking at these places from the movie. There's not a ton because it's a little teeny tiny town and they only filmed a little bit, but there was a, what was it called? There's a cemetery, there's a church, there's a post office. I think there was a convenience store in the movie. I'm pretty sure that probably closed down. I know there's some stuff closed down, like there was a church that my mom used to go, another church that my mom used to go to that was around here. Yeah, this is a cool place.